All right, let's talk about something nobody ever wants to admit. How do you know? You suck. Yep, I said it. Look, I'm not just talking about being bad at a task. I'm talking about leadership. How do you know when you're the one holding your team back? Before any of us can become leaders, we have to have followers. It's that simple. We need people who trust us, people who want to work with us, who are willing to listen to our ideas and run with them. People we influence in a positive way. But here's the uncomfortable truth. A lot of people, and I mean a lot, get put into leadership or management positions with zero preparation. They get the title, the office, the pay bump, but none of the actual skills to lead people. And what happens? Their teams don't want to follow them. They just don't. And the wildest part about this entire situation, nobody tells them. Nobody ever sits them down and says, "Hey, you're not good at this. You're making things worse." It just doesn't happen. Instead, people quietly leave. They find a new job. They transfer to another department. Or maybe they stay, but they completely disengage. They shut down. They stop caring. They do the absolute bare minimum to not get fired. And the leader, completely oblivious, usually thinks, well, that was their fault. They just weren't a good fit, or they had a bad attitude. They externalize the blame because it's easier than looking in the mirror. But here's the thing. True leadership is humbling. It's one of the most humbling journeys you can go on. It requires admitting we don't have all the answers. It requires acknowledging when we're not living up to the expectations of our team, or even our own expectations for ourselves. And most of the time, the biggest hurdle is that we don't even realize we're the problem. I think we're doing a great job, while our team is slowly falling apart around us. So today, we're going to talk about it. We're going to rip the Band-Aid off. How do you know you suck as a leader? And more importantly, how do you start getting better because you can? This isn't a permanent state. This is a starting point. So, let's get into the 5-step framework to figure this out. Step 1 is the most objective. Look at your results. I don't mean your intentions. I don't mean how hard you worked or how many hours you put in. I mean the cold, hard results. Are your people actually performing? Are deadlines consistently being met, or are they always slipping? Are your team's goals being hit, or are you constantly explaining why you fell short? If the outcomes are consistently bad, quarter after quarter, project after project, that's a massive sign. Great leaders own results, both good and bad. They don't make excuses. They analyze what went wrong, and they start with working on themselves. If your team is failing, the first person you need to look at is the one leading it. That's you. So be honest. How do the numbers look? Step 2. Watch the behavior of your team. This is where you have to become an observer, a detective of human interaction. Are your people actively avoiding you? Do they take the long way around the office to avoid walking past your desk? When you walk into the break room, does the conversation suddenly stop? Do people only do the bare minimum? They clock in, do their tasks, and clock out? There's no extra effort, no passion, no new ideas. They're just going through the motions. People vote with their behavior long before they ever vote with their feet. Subtle cues like avoiding eye contact, giving one-word answers, or a total lack of enthusiasm are powerful messages. They're telling you that they don't feel comfortable, safe, or inspired around you. Step 3. Listen for silence. This one is counterintuitive for a lot of new leaders. You think, wow, my team is so easy. Nobody ever complains. No one brings me problems. You might mistake that silence for harmony. It's not. If your team never gives you feedback, if they never push back on an idea, if they never ask tough questions, if they never bring you problems until it's an absolute 5-alarm fire, that's not peace. It's fear or disengagement. They've either learned that speaking up is punished, or they've just given up because they don't think you'll listen anyway. Silence is one of the loudest indicators that something is wrong. A healthy, engaged team is a noisy team. They challenge each other, they debate. They bring you problems early because they trust you to help them solve them. Silence is the sound of a team that is checked out. Step 4. Check your emotional wake. This is a concept from the world of boating. When a boat moves through the water, it leaves a wake behind it. As a leader, you do the same thing emotionally with every single interaction. After people interact with you, how do they feel? Do they walk away from a one-on-one meeting feeling motivated, energized, and clear on what they need to do? Or do they feel drained, confused, and a little bit smaller? Do they leave conversations with you feeling inspired or just exhausted? Your emotional wake tells the absolute truth about your leadership impact. If you're constantly leaving a trail of anxiety, frustration, or confusion behind you, you're not leading. You're managing by fear or chaos. Pay attention to how the mood shifts when you enter and leave a room. That's your wake. And finally, step 5. Ask for real feedback. And I don't mean the polite surface-level stuff you get in an annual performance review. I don't mean asking, how am I doing? Because everyone is programmed to say, you're doing great. You have to be specific and show you're genuinely open to criticism. Find the people on your team you trust, the ones who have a bit of courage, and ask them this one question. What is one thing I am doing that makes your job harder? And then shut up and listen. Don't defend yourself. Don't explain your intentions. Just listen and say thank you. That single question, asked with genuine sincerity, can change your entire leadership trajectory. It shows humility, and it gives you a concrete, actionable thing you can start working on. The results, your team's behavior, the silence, your emotional wake, and asking for real feedback. Here's the good news in all of this. Realizing you suck isn't the end. It's not a final judgment. It's the beginning. It's the starting line. Every single great leader you admire has had that moment where they looked in the mirror and said, I can be better. I need to be better. That's where growth starts. It's where real influence is born. It's where leadership actually begins. It's not about being perfect from day one. It's about having the courage to confront your imperfections. So if you're brave enough to ask the question, is it me? If you're willing to look at these 5 signs and be honest with yourself, you are already miles ahead of most leaders out there who just keep blaming everyone else. Hit that subscribe button, drop a comment, and let me know which of these 5 steps hit you the hardest. I read every single one. And make sure you stick around, because in the next video, we are going to talk about the practical steps for how to rebuild trust. Thanks for watching. We'll see you Wednesday.